Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. So how we will fund the 10.78 trillion naira budget deficit by minister. Fashola explains Lagos-Ibadan expressway delays. IPOB, federal government appeals judgment freeing Kanu. We kind of expected that would happen. Nigeria loses 9,000 doctors to UK, US, and Canada in 2 years. Ekiti Speaker dies at 66. Reps Committee okay sale of Polaris Bank. President signs startup bill. And Buhari heads APC Presidential Campaign Council. Okay, which story starting with the nation?
Two short stories. So, Buhari, President Muhammad Buhari, I just wanted to say Buhari like that, signs the Nigeria startup bill into law. And he's assured that the legal framework will protect youths and innovative sector against harassment and other abuses. So the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, gave the assurance, and he was saying that this has been signed into law, Startups Act 2022. That's Nigeria Startups Act 2022. And this is something that has been done for entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, innovative entrepreneurs, to ensure that they are properly protected as they start up their new businesses. And they're going to be earmarking about 10 billion startup funding for these startups. So it's quite encouraging. They're going to handle issues of intellectual property, financing, and regulation that really faces young people when they start up their businesses. So the second story here is the Reps Committee okays divestment from Polaris Bank. So it's been a conversation they've been having to sell Polaris Bank, but they had to be stalled because there was one of the House of Reps member raised an alarm that they must investigate and ensure that everything is done transparently. So they have carried out the investigations and they realized that nothing really is hiding in whatever they are doing, so they can go ahead and sell Polaris Bank.
All right, so I have a story. The Honorable Minister of Finance and Budget, the National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Hamad, has said yesterday concerning the budget. Now, many of you know already that the 2023 budget is about 20.51 trillion naira. That's not the news. And the fact that out of that 20.5 trillion, 9.73 is going to be internally, total revenue that the budget will be funded by revenue internally. But the real problem is the 10.78 trillion naira deficit. Now, that one, they don't know where that money is coming from, but that money is not available. So she's now saying that they plan to fund that budget, that 10.7 trillion, through internal domestic loans. And what that means is that, according to them, they're going to borrow from domestic sources, 7.04 trillion, foreign sources, 1.7 trillion, multilateral and bilateral loan withdrawals, about 1.7 trillion, and expected 206 billion from privatization of national assets. Now, this for me is worth discussing, because when you say domestic borrowing, what does that mean? We need to now break it down. Are you borrowing from our pensions?
From within?
Are you borrowing from states, governments? Where exactly?
That's what it means.
What are you doing? So 10.7 trillion of your deficit is going to be costing from domestic loans. And she also said that governments will continue to utilize appropriate debt management tools to streamline the cost and risk profile in the debt portfolio. So it's all about managing our debt. And she still says that we're still within that bracket to manage debt, that we're going to continue to, our debt profile is to steadily pay back loans, and that hasn't given us a problem so far.
Okay, all right. The one I have is sounding already like a broken record. Brain drain. Nigeria loses 9,000 doctors to UK, US, Canada in 2 years. And, the mass immigration of Nigeria-trained healthcare professionals is so worrisome. The federal government and the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, lamented yesterday. They lamented that the country ranks next to India and Pakistan in number of foreign doctors applying their trade in the United Kingdom. And according to them, Nigeria lost over 9,000 medical doctors to the UK, Canada, and United States of America between 2016 and 2018. And we were actually still talking about this morning, about, you know, the quagmire we are in at the moment with doctors leaving the country.
So the Honorable Minister of Works, Honorable Fashola, Minister Fashola actually was speaking yesterday at the inaugural conference we're having concerning reviewing Buhari's administration from 2015 to date. And he was saying that, you know, he had promised us, and I know he promised us that by December, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be ready.
Yes. So,
but now he's now saying that because Oyo State government is handling the drains and he doesn't want to have to complete the road and then come back to undo it again because of the drains. So they have to slow down because the Oyo State government has slowed down the work they're doing on the drainage. They also have to slow down in the work they're doing on the roads. Wow. And they have to obviously wait for them to finish the drains before they now complete. So he's asking the Nigerians to please bear with the Ministry of Works that is to be done. But he didn't give us a date anymore. You know that they were confident that
yes,
December. Now, he didn't say anything, but yes. Also
I just hope that they're having conversations with your states to, you know,
to fast track.
Yes.
And because people are really complaining. But he has confirmed that the second Niger bridge is already ready. People are actually walking over it. Just that the connecting bridges from Asaba is the one that they need to fix that before cars can have access to them.
Once it's worth the wait, if it's going to be fantastic, of course. If it's worth the wait, but then
I'll take that story in Punch, people are really groaning. Let's move on quickly to the Punch. PDP crisis aggrieved National Working Committee members protest exclusion from presidential campaigns. Picture story here: NEMA trains core members in disaster management. Alaba market traders hoodlums clash, one feared killed. Ekiti Speaker dies of cardiac arrest, government mourns. And Lagos-Ibadan Expressway nightmare persists, motorists demand alternative routes. Telcos fume as FG orders tariff hike reversal. Flood, 4,885 Ogun houses submerged. FG absorbs Cameroon. FG records over 5 trillion naira deficit in 8 months. And hashtag NSAS, states fail to compensate victims. Police warns protesters. Okay.
All right, I have one killed as RTEAN, Alaba International Market, task force clash over, money. Yeah. So there is another leadership, market leadership in Alaba. And according to them, one was shot dead and, scores of others injured. And that erupted between members of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria and those of Alaba International Market. And because of the new leadership, they have said that they don't want these people in their terrain again because they collect up to like 4,000 naira from each driver. Every day, but and that was the cause of it. And of course, as they said, sadly, somebody has lost his life and a lot of people injured.
Yeah, it was also said that they had to carry out the protest. They set up a bonfire. The traders were singing round, that they are tired. They don't mind starving, but
they're just tired.
Yes,
they're tired.
Yeah, and something has to be done about it. Do we have time to take another?
Yeah, please.
Yes, so the federal government has ordered telecommunication companies to reverse their recent 10% hike in calls and data prices. I mentioned it the other day here that I was trying to, buy data.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized that the money had increased. So they said they have called them to reverse it. Now, the decision means that MTN Nigeria and Airtel, telcos like them who have initially increased their prices of the data bundles by 10% will now have to revert to the old price. Initially, they had gotten an approval to increase the prices because they had been complaining that, as a matter of fact, with this Ukraine-Russia war, they had to start spending up to additional 40% on cost of operations, and everything had gone up. So they just needed to find ways to, increase their tariff. And they were given that, go ahead to do so, only for the government to come back again and say, oh yeah, quickly reverse it. So some of them are saying that this is not good for businesses.
Yes, now, that's
you can't keep giving, policies that are very fluid. Today you say yes, tomorrow you call it back, and it would, disencourage other people to come in and invest in the country. And something has to be done about this, that they have quietly reversed it. They didn't make noise about it, but it's not really nice. But government, on the other hand, is saying that your business people are doing is a bulk business. So even though we know that prices have gone up, you still have the subscribers to be able to cushion the effects. And they're trying to make sure that Nigerians are not further suffering with this increment.
But I don't think that should be a problem. I understand from their own side, but the thing is that when things are very expensive and things have come down, then you should be able to bring the price down.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We are still reviewing Punch, and I have a story. So still connecting with the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway story in Punch. The Director, Southwest Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Adedamola Kuti, promised that the inward and outward sections of the expressway will indeed be completed by December 2022. So he's reassuring us that December it will be ready. However, people are complaining because the reconstruction that is going on from Otedola Bridge to Bega and Isheri area have extended all the way to the Long Bridge. And this is a problem because it has caused a lot of gridlock. And people like motorists are obviously driving on one way or taking bikes, and it has caused a lot of congestion. And what they're saying is that there should be some kind of a alternative route for people to pass. You know, you can't tell us to bear this till December. Especially these are travel season.
Period,
and according to the report, they're saying that, yes, they already knew that that side would be very, very densely populated at this period, but they are asking us to please understand that there's really not much they can do at this point. But we're still appealing to the Ministry of Works and Housing that they should find a way to get the contractors to create some kind of a detour for people to be able to have somewhere to pass so that the congestion can be reduced and we can reduce the problems and the stress on people who are applying that route. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun, let's find a story we've not taken. IPOB charges Southeast governors, Igbo leaders to speak for Kanu's release. Military bars politicians from using its images. 1.9 million Nigerians living with HIV, says United Nations. PVCs for voters registered between January and June 2022 ready for pickup. Lagos Alaba market shut as traders clash with touts. Suspected herders killed 2 policemen and 16 others in Benue. And Naira will be devalued by 20% in 2023, says Bank of America. Okay, BC?
Yeah, so indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, are urging the Southeast governors and Igbo leaders to immediately prevail on the federal government to release its leader, Nnamdi Kanu, following the judgment of the Federal Court of Appeal in Abuja that discharged him of treason charges leveled by the government. Now, the spokesperson of the group, Ima Powerful, was asking governors, stakeholders in the region to take a bold step and begin to negotiate his release because he needs to be attended to, especially because of his health. And he says that he's noticed the sort of calmness and quietness that the Igbo leaders are displaying. They are not speaking up about him. The court has given him his freedom, and yet he's still in detention, and nobody's saying anything, that they should not be afraid that they will be victimized if they speak up, that they must not show that they are cowards. They have to speak up and get him out so that he can be attended to. And they are just observing everything that is happening. They are looking at all the Igbo leaders, looking at the politicians who are putting themselves first and not thinking of how they can help, get Nnamdi Kanu out.
All right, so I have the, soldiers video. DHQ warns politicians, social media handlers against fake news, something like what we talked about yesterday. And, well, this is following a particular video that was making the rounds a while ago or recently, where it showed that there were some soldiers who were praising a particular presidential aspirant and then, saying nonsense about the other person. And he was saying that, no, they shouldn't. They should desist from doing that. So the Defense Headquarters yesterday warned politicians and their social media handlers to desist from misusing images and visuals of military personnel to campaign and promote their interest. And according to them, this does not only present the armed forces in bad light, but can also sow seeds of distrust and instability. And
Okay, I was going to take the story. PVCs are ready. Nigerians, please open your ears.
That's good news. Good news. Yeah, good news.
Because they've been ready since, actually. The Administrative Secretary of INEC, that's Awal Mohammed, was speaking yesterday when he was speaking with the House of Assembly members, House of Representatives, and members of the electioneering campaign for all the political parties. Was telling them that it's quite sad that we have so much energy to go and register. Now it's time for pickup. It has been slow across the country. He even said that there are PVCs in there. He mentioned, I think, Delta State. That's about 570 cards unpicked. Voter registered. They've been registered for 13 months now, and yet they've not come to pick up. He also mentioned a few other states who there's some 300,000 just lying there. Others 69,000. Others 244,000 in various states lying fallow. You have not gone to pick up. So you went to register, you've not picked up. Please pick up your PVC so that you can actually vote, because voting is not on social media.
That's right.
It is
What about
actually voting.
Yeah,
so
that
please
registered
pick up
very
between
recently.
January, the most recent, January and June.
Okay.
If you register between January and June,
It's
your
ready.
PVC is ready, go and pick up.
Yeah.
Oshe?
Oshe. Okay, let's move on quickly now to Vanguard. Floods account for 1 trillion naira ecological vote, FG task states. Wow, that's a huge story. I wish I read that. Abba Kyari NDLE applies to mask identities of lead witnesses. Police officer, 22 others killed as armed headsmen attack police station in Benue. Second anniversary implements reports of judicial panels of inquiry, says hashtag NSAS organizers. Why we are no longer interested in Kogi land, says Bua. Judges' welfare of Zekome whips for judiciary, blasts federal government and others. One killed at RTEAN Alaba International Market Task Force clash. And FG to tackle deficit, debt with asset sales and other measures, says Finance Minister. Which story are we starting with?
So the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, yesterday sought permission of the Federal High Court in Abuja to mask identities of lead witnesses billed to testify in the ongoing trial of the detained Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Abba Kyari, who is facing a drug trafficking charge. We know that he's answering to an 8-count charge. The NDLEA preferred against him for allegedly tampering with cocaine that was seized from 2 convicted drug peddlers, Chibuna Patrick Umebi and Emeka Alphonsus Ezewanne. So they resumed the proceedings yesterday, Wednesday, and through the Director of Legal Services, Mr. Sunday Joseph, they have notified the court of their intention to present 6 major witnesses that will give evidence in the matter. However, they are asking that they had initially presented 4 witnesses, you know, and they are asking that the identities of these witnesses be masked and shielded from the public, you know, so that they can, you know, better protect them. And there's something they wrote here, and I quote, "My Lord, there are some people that are always here in this court to observe the proceeding. Some of them are police officers and some we don't know their identities. We need to protect the witnesses, and that is why we are making this application." The council, that's Abba Kyari's council, also agreed, just saying that as long as they are allowed to see the witnesses themselves, that it's okay for them. So they have been asked to present the application to court and see.
Okay, so I have the flood story. I'm trying to see the person that was speaking here. They said the federal government has said that the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon is not responsible for the flooding we have experienced. That, according to the report, it was Minister of Water and Resources Suleiman Adamu that was saying this. He was saying that the dam releases water, yes, and the water without notice, they come without notice. However, it's not the main reason we have flood in this country. The main cause, however, is the rains have been unprecedented. And the tributaries of River Benue are the main cause. So the tributaries of the River Benue are the main cause of the flooding we see and experience. And more importantly, the federal government also said that 1 trillion naira was earmarked, has been given to states for ecological fund, which is about 2.2% of the total budget, the 2018, 2019, and 2023 budget. They are 2.2% of it. Now, what are states using these funds for is something we need to really discuss and find out, because every time they're asking you, what do you use your ecological funds for? Because you're supposed to protect and to manage disaster when it does come. And obviously, when these disasters come, many of the states have nothing to do about it. And they're now asking
for relief.
Relief from federal government. So, I mean, I wish I read the article, but I didn't read the whole article. But the point is that 1 trillion was allocated to them, and we need to ask questions to government and
where the money went.
What did they do with this money, especially those states that are flood prone. Let's find out. Okay, let's move on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. How much time do we have left? Okay, run out of time. Let's find a story we have not taken. Many injured as hoodlums clash with traders. We talked about that. Wild animals invade Edo community. Villages appeal to Oba of Benin. Constitutional review, we won't truncate alteration, says Conference of Speakers. Tinubu in fresh move to pacify agreed blocks as campaign council unveils fresh list. And FG not planning to restructure for the 2.8 trillion debt. Okay, which story?
The wild animals.
Yeah, what happened?
Edo
State, not lion and...
No, it's buffalo and python. So they said there's a part of their village that has been, a part of the river, Dende or so, that has been polluted by strangers who probably started doing palm oil business in the water there and polluted it. And they had advised them against it. So now, probably the spirit of the river is now releasing wild animals into the city, pythons and buffaloes, just like that. So they are appealing to the traditional
to do something about
it. Maybe do some rituals, I don't know.
Interesting.
Traditional, something.
That's so interesting.
It happens, it still happens.
Wow, wow.
Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, we're bringing our guest from I Create Club. Stay with us, we'll be right back.